Good afternoon. The topic for this panel discussion is human values in higher education. And the panelists are Shri Ajay Mishra ji, who was Principal Secretary Higher Education at the time when IIIT was doing its experiments in introducing these human values in higher education. Sir, please come on to the dais. The next panelist is Professor Karmakar. He is from IIT BHU. His area of research is mining. Sir, please come on to the dais. Next panelist is Shri Giridhar. He works in TCS and also conducted several FDPs on universal human values. Giridhar, please come. And Professor Amarendra, who is also from IIT BHU. He was part of several FDP programs which was conducted in IIT BHU. And other panelist, that is Professor Kamal Karlapalem from IIIT Hyderabad. When this human values experiment started in a small way, so he was Dean Academics at that time. So Professor Kamal, yeah. Panelist is Professor Abhijit Mitra, who was student life chair and faculty mentor for these universal human values for a long period. So Mitra sir, please. So over to you. You have request you to conclude the session at 1:45.
Okay, so welcome everybody. We will be having the others who are still continuing with the tea and coffee. But there is one advantage. Even when this is sparsely populated, that doesn't mean this is on record and it is online also. So in the hybrid mode, it's not that it's an empty space you are speaking to. And I'm sure that we will have a lot of interesting things which will be coming up. Pradeep, when he told me, said that I have to really moderate, and I feel myself very humble for such an august body of speakers, and I don't know what to moderate. But maybe in Hindi, what they call Vishay Pravesh, to some extent I can try to do that. Though not much needs to be done because Vishay Pravesh was all morning long. I have a grandson, 4-year-old, and I am staying with him for some time. And every day he asks me questions. Why? And any idea about how many times he asks this question on the average per day? I lost count. Then I looked up the Uncle Google, and they said a 4-year kid asks a why 250 times. That is a world average. And this 250 whys per day ultimately trickles down because of the response they get from us and what the society does to them. And I think the whole business of this is to us to realize and make them realize that this why nobody else is going to answer. This why has to come back to themselves, to ourselves. And from there, we have to get answers to these questions of why. Human values is about the whys. Why I am doing what I am doing. Whatever I am doing, is it because I have a reason to do it? It may not be an articulated reason. And in fact, through the Jivan Vidya experiment and other things, we have found out that we are doing things because it makes us happy. But if I find my neighbor happy, then I'm happy. this is another realization that also comes when we start interrogating ourselves, that what makes us happy. So I said all this because this is some sort of a setting when we talk about higher education. After higher education, there is a specialized set of things that students come to learn. And after that, the student has to be employed by somebody. That somebody has thought about the why he should do. And he has come to get his training about how to do certain things. Isn't it at this stage necessary that the student learns to think why he wants to do, instead of just he learns how and then looks for people who will buy what all he knows? So this is why human values and higher education should be together. But if this why is there, then the next question which follows this why is, what should be done to do that? So this what should we do follows the why. And once we have some idea about what we should do, then comes discussions and deliberations about how we should do it. So our August panelists, they have been involved in different ways in handling and integrating human values with higher education. And we expect some illumination about their experiences, about the what and the how, and that the discussion can go on from there. So I first would request Professor Karmakar from IIT BHU to 5 minutes we'll have, because 1:45 is the time that Pradeep has given us. So one round, and then after that we can have discussions and questions from the audience. You can take somebody who is in charge of the mic.
Hello. I feel fortunate enough to be a part of this great occasion, a grand occasion, celebrating Professor Rajiv Shangalji, who happens to be my first director at IIT BHU. I appreciate the effort taken by IIIT Hyderabad to organize such a grand function to bid farewell to a great professor and a great personality full of human values, the way I have seen him. My first exposure to this subject is through Shangal sir. And every week he used to conduct mentor meetings with us, and whatever I could learn in this subject, all the credit goes to Shangal sir initially and other Prabodhaks baad mein. So I consider Professor Shangal as my teacher on this subject. Namaskar sir. Coming to the subject proper, that human values in higher education. Before coming to this subject and what is change in my thought in this subject, that what should be incorporated in educational system. Now I feel that these are the needs and desires by human being, by the society. That should be essentially part of the education system. Then I tried to see it retrospectively, that what input I've got through my primary school, primary education, school education, college, and even university, higher education. And then I tried to match what are the expectations by the society. Common expectations, I term it as innate expectations, innate desires. From the childhood, listened one thing, health is wealth, swasth sampad. That even in Sanskrit, sharirang maddang khalu dharma sadhanam. Those who would like to aspire in that line, they also require a good health. But then, how much has been given as the input to maintain a sound health? I find it is basically a little bit of anatomy, physiology, but not how to maintain good health. The swasth sangyam part is totally missing, which includes ahar, bihar, and if we term the word, lifestyle. So lifestyle covers all that first. Now, we see the students, higher education students, they go to bed after 3, 3:30, 4, you never know. So lifestyle is totally changed because we are not knowing it. So that should be incorporated. Essentially, I could come here, I can say I could come here because myself wanted it, but my career has to support it. So health is an essential part of it. May not be the all, but without that, we cannot do anything. So health is very important. So as the sangyam part has to be incorporated, and at the higher education even, because it is devoid of, this knowledge is not there. Second part, I say that in the society, when we seek blessings from the elders, in many languages, different ways they are uttered. But in Bengali, two words are very common. Sukhe shantite thako. That means live in sukh and shanti. These sukh, they mean it by material happiness. And this shanti is mental happiness, which is the desire of the soul. Now, throughout this education, in higher education, through the skill, what we are trying to get is that sukh part, material happiness. And it is understood that material happiness cannot replace the mental happiness. Any amount of material happiness cannot substitute the mental happiness because it is not existing there. If something is not existing there, we cannot get it that. Okay, just like a great example given by Shangal sir also in the meetings, that searching for a black cat in a dark room, which is not there. So we cannot find that mental happiness in material happiness. And mental happiness is related to totally through relationship, sambandh, ব্যবহার. So that part should be given due consideration in education. And why in higher education itself? Because these higher educations, they are the future parents. They are the future teachers. They will be working in the profession. So what is the meaning of this harmony? How this social relationship can be maintained so that the desire of the soul, that is Anand, Shanti, that is can be obtained. So instead of going into different aspects, other speakers are there. So for the time being, I keep it up to this much only. Thank
you for giving the first part short. I now request Shri Giridhar from TCS. Yeah.
First of all, gratitude to IIIT Hyderabad and Pradeep ji for inviting me for this occasion. Rajiv Sangal ji's superannuation and yeah, we are obviously going to miss him. So hope our journey will continue together anyways. So coming to the topic, so I'm myself as Giridhar. The way I got introduced to Jivan Vidya, obviously there is a big hand and help from Professor Rajiv Sangalji and Pradeep ji. When I attended these workshops, started off attending with workshops in IIIT Hyderabad. Ganesh ji used to facilitate. It was being an IT employee, I work right across in TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. So I just used to just cross the road and come to here IIIT and attend these workshops. And that's when I thought, this is something that needs to be taken forward. It should not just stay with me. So, but then out of, I don't know if I've really worked on myself, in my behavior or not. But then there was that rush of taking it forward. Yeah, I've got obviously some information and knowledge and all that. I was trying to reflect on myself, a lot of things. And as the time went by, so there was an opportunity for me to take this forward, and Rajiv Sangalji and Ganesh ji have given me an opportunity to take it. Started off with school teachers, Krishnaveni school. I think I don't remember exactly the name of the schools, but we did a couple of workshops there for the school teachers. Myself and Suman, who was also one of the graduates from IIIT Hyderabad. So we took, and that's when I started seeing that the importance. I mean, even though I was not able to deliver the content so well, basically because of I've not been a teacher myself actually. So mostly my experience is in IT and software. So, but then I realized that how important it is to communicate. And once I started communicating it, I really started looking into myself and see whatever that I started saying, whatever that I tell, am I really doing it? Right? Is it really coming into my life? So all the good things, all the proposals that we have in Jivan Vidya are universal human values. Is it really, something that is really, this is something I'm really following it? That's more important. And what I believe is, unless I have that in my behavior, in my personality, nobody would else actually, listen to me. Why should they? If I say something and do something else, why would someone else, look at me and, try to follow what I say? Right? That's a question. So that's something I, started reflecting on. And, as days, passed by, I kept on attending the higher level workshops, or with Adyan, with Pradeep sir, try to read books. And through the journey also, I through Rajiv Sangalji and team, we've been asked to take some faculty development programs, FDPs, across India. And mostly we kind of formed a team also here. Myself, Shiva is also here. So there is Suman and Hari, who we all met, Srinivas, we all met in IIIT Hyderabad attending these workshops. So in some of the workshops, for universal human values for FDPs, as FDPs for faculty, I took some maybe about 2 or 3 8-day workshops, and about maybe about close to 10. I don't even know the exact count. So, maybe I didn't put a count of how many I took, but I took some 8, maybe 3-day workshops. Most of them, some of them are in Hyderabad and some of them are in AP and Kerala also. One of other guys, Swami, who also is part of our team, he also joined me in few workshops. So, and, it's not just, going and taking the workshops. It's, there is a lot of preparation that we had to do. And while doing the preparation, and a lot of reflection. So, and some of the workshops that, I took, especially, the more focus was on not just passing the content, and, making sure that that is reflected in their behavior, whoever is the teacher or faculty that is attending. So that, it was like, if I have to tell, I just take an example. If I have to tell about self and body, they both are different, and the needs are quite different, which we all know anyways, right? So what I used to tell them is like, just to see in our language itself, or, in our daily life itself, what we are using, right? What we actually need in our, daily routine. Something like, whatever that we use, something, food or water or, clothing, they are all for the body. So ask that to yourself. And what else do we need? Like, other than physical needs, right? So we all need respect, we all need to be trusted. We all need, being affectionate. And so all these are, mental needs, and, we all need that. So are we able to see that, are we able to differentiate that these two are different? So I, make them take some activities, something like, who needs water, for example, either body or self. They would say, body needs water. Who needs clothes? Right? They would say body needs clothes. And who needs respect? They would obviously say self, right? It's not the body which needs the respect. So that way, I mean, by asking these questions, it's not that I am asking these questions. I'm asking them to ask themselves these questions so that they get to see what are the needs that, that their self and their body needs. And they both are equally important. I mean, let them decide what is more important, what is not, and whether both of them are needed, or which one is more needed. So that way, if they are able to reflect that on themselves, when I set them these proposals, give them these proposals, they would obviously do the similar way to their own students. And that's what when, and obviously when we get into relationships, when you talk about relationships, so when would a student get more knowledge? When they have good relationship with the teacher, and when they don't, right? A student actually seeks the knowledge from the teacher, right? Is it my time? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me conclude.
I don't know how to stop it. This is
okay. So I'll try to sum up kind of fast. So I mean, what I'm trying to say is like, it's our own. I think it's a little disturbing here.
difficult. It's already made. I'm trying to shut down.
Okay.
No, you point it. I am almost going to. No, silent also doesn't work.
Okay. So that's some software problem which I am actually working on.
No, it's not.
Right. Okay.
I will not use this alarm anymore. If there was a physical manual thing, it would have been better.
Yes. Okay. So let me sum up quickly here then. So I mean, basically, it's the students who have to ask these questions. Why, right? As sir has told. So that question should, everyone should be able to ask these questions. And unfortunately, we've not given such opportunities to any of the students. We've not been able to give such opportunities to the students to ask these questions to themselves. And I think, the best guide is their own self, right? If I ask myself, I want to be happy, and what am I doing for being happy, right? So that's the basic question that everybody has to ask themselves, and try to be that, right? I mean, the answers are there within us, and for that, some guidance is obviously needed, like as faculty development programs or their own teacher or their own faculty. So this is what my focus has been throughout in my whatever faculty development programs that I've taken so far. And apart from that, so as a team, we've that has given us a lot of inspiration and confidence that we can take this forwards. In fact, I've taken a couple of workshops for undergrad students in IIIT Hyderabad also, and that has given some confidence for us to take it forward to the entire society. And we formed as a team, including Pradeep sir being part of us, guiding us with a lot of aspects to take this forward to the entire society. So we've taken a lot of workshops, and as as we're talking about the faculty development program here, I think together Pradeep sir himself has taken close to 50 workshops. Again, we don't have total good count on how much we've taken, but As a team, including 7 or 8 of us together, we must have taken about close to 100 workshops together, including 7-day, 8-day workshops and some few 3-day workshops as well. And it's not the count that I'm counting on, because that's the reason why I'm saying I don't keep the count on. But the thing is, how it's our self-development that I'm counting on. See how well I have developed while taking these workshops is what I totally believe in, and that's one of the reasons why I want to take this forward, not just for anyone else. Even though it may be useful and it is probably helping others, the faculty and everyone else in the society also. But my focus would be more on my own development. So this is what I believe in, and thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. It's excellently. The sum up was brilliant, because that really gave us insight. And then I think 5 minutes a bit too little, because the Professor Sangal's contribution to human values, bringing human values to technical education in the Indian context, it will take 3 to 4 minutes from every speaker. You can't help it. So the remaining part should come. So I request Ajay Mishra ji to 7 minutes.
I'll try to be much. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank IIIT, especially Professor PGN and Professor Pradeep for inviting me here. But I am surprised that I should not have been on the panel. I had come here more to learn about the new way human values is being propagated, taught, and practiced in the different universities. I had come with that perspective. Thanking is a very small word which I will use for Professor Sangalji, because whenever I have come here to IIIT, I have learnt. So, and today also I learnt. See, so with that perspective, I came here, and partly it is successful. About myself, I was Principal Secretary Higher Education during 2013 and 14. A 2-day workshop here, where I was asked to come. Saturday I was not able to come because of some work. But then Sunday I made it a point that I have to come. And I came here. And then, as I say, rest I was not able to take rest in terms of human values education for next 1.5 years, till the time I was in that assignment. During that workshop, it was on, I think, first floor, some hall, not this big hall, was there. And the way it was being conducted, the way people were talking about it, so I went back home that day evening. And next day, I discussed with half a dozen colleagues of mine in the department that this is what I have learned yesterday. Can we do something? When I initially asked Dr. Pradeep, he said it will take at least 5-6 months to prepare to make preparations before it is launched in the colleges. I had another, thought in my mind, because whatever was being talked here was about human values in technical education. At that time, either I was not fully briefed, the issue or the procedural of family to be involved while this course is being introduced was not fully, I was not fully aware. And second thing, my wife is working, so we don't discuss about office things at home at all. To the extent possible, that's how we maintain some harmony. Otherwise, if we are discussing only about office, we'll be discussing that at home also. So my father was there at that time. He was professor of philosophy earlier, and he was active. Till 1 year before that, he had written a research book on philosophy. So I discussed with him that this is a new thing which I have come around. And then he said, why technical institutions? there is need in the other colleges also for human values. So then I got the idea that technical institutes, anyway, there are people here who could help, but we will try to have it in the other degree colleges also. And that's where the story started, or the journey started. And I had a commissioner of higher education who was a lady and who was much more enthusiastic. She got in, she really passionate about it. And during the holidays, college holidays, I requested Dr. Pradeep, can we condense the training, motivation, all those things for the teachers before the colleges start? So it was agreed with a little bit of pressure. And finally, we chose about 2 teachers from each college which were willing. We didn't try to enforce it on anyone. We left it open. And the teachers' training was over by June ending, and July we started in more than 100 colleges at one go. Why see this 100 colleges? Because in the government, we are always unsure when we'll go out. And my tenure before that had been about 1.5 years in any post in which I was there. So that time Hari was there, not like you professors that you waited for 1 year for some things to be done. That luxury I didn't have. So we started in a hurry. I'll say maybe if we had waited, we could have done a better job. But then the response was terrific. And by September, October, we had to increase the number of colleges. That was the best thing which I witnessed. And so I will see, that was an experiment, like Dr. Pradeep said. Here they were experimenting. I also experimented in the degree colleges, arts degree colleges. And it was much more satisfaction to me and some benefit to the students and teachers. With this, I think I'll first round within 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. We are on schedule. And you just now said that you are not in touch with this for last 8 years. But then whatever you said is definitely inspiring to all of us. I'll try to conclude later on. But now I request Professor Kamal to speak, because he has been looking at this mixture between, that is how to bring value education into the IIIT curriculum for quite some time.
Yeah. It was, I think, in 2003, 2004, I was handling the undergraduate, all the undergraduate programs at the institute. And Professor Sangal said that we are planning to have this course in the fall semester. And we think that it will be good for all the students. Now, curriculum is very sacrosanct. I mean, the academics, the faculty, and everybody, any small change in curriculum has to be appropriately justified and reasoned out, discussed, and then decided. And suddenly introducing in a technical institute a course which is not falling into any of the disciplines that are generally considered in this curriculum. So then I said, we could do it. And then he said there is a workshop on this before that, and then we do it. Then I said, I have to attend that to figure out whether there is an quote unquote merit of introducing this to all students. So because there are many manifestations of such things, including discourses, which are not appropriate in the standard curriculum of an university. But we attended that, and I found that there is a significant academic and, further human merit into that. And so I said, yes, it should be, I'm okay with having this as part of the curriculum. And, the rest of so there was enough discussion, enough evaluation, merits, demerits, and various other things. And we went ahead and then we did it. I mean, in the sense of doing it. The critical point that I wanted to bring out is that even in IIIT, introducing this required significant thought, practice, and involvement of the faculty and people who have gone through that program and figured out the merits of this particular thing. And then it went off. There was another impending hurry in doing something like that. So what was happening was the student, Professor Sangal would have presented this multiple times. Students, when they came in, they were away from their regular pattern of study and were thoroughly immersed in exams like JEE and others to get into good institutions. So there was a disconnect from the students to the rest of the society, happenings in the world. Anything that was of interest to them was not conveyed to them, saying that it would disturb their studies. It would disturb their goal of getting into such a place. And then once they came in, there is a different disconnect. Now they are in a, they have been told that, okay, you have achieved whatever you have achieved. You are now in IIT or IIIT and so on. Your life is set. Now you can do whatever you want. So this sudden freedom and sudden this was one aspect. And in that case, they were also not adhering to the good practices of taking the best out of an university education, right? On the other hand, when they went back home and the parents now saying that, okay, you have settled down, you know, last 2 years we didn't tell you, but we have these difficulties or we want you to take up these responsibilities of taking care of family or other things and so on. They were taken aback in the sense like now there is a whole lot of responsibility on me, which I thought was never there. So there was this disconnect. So they couldn't even, out of respect, you know, to the elders, they couldn't argue with their parents or elders. Nor they could absorb it and come up with a proper solutions, right? So therefore, they had to take decisions and they had to understand the environment. We spent a lot of time on understanding. So therefore, this particular academic material that we convey to the students tried to give a grounding in the sense that everybody thinks in the same manner, everybody has the same aspect of you know, what is important, what is not important, the notion of prosperity and other things. And once they got that grounding, and then, you know, it helped them to understand multiple viewpoints in the society, in their families, among their friends, and with the institute. So after that, students were able to convey to us some of the understanding that they got for us to make better decisions for them. So for example, we got 4 messes. We had a healthy mess, Iftahar. The students built their own portal where they could have whatever food they want for the next day, breakfast in one place, lunch in another place, you know, dinner at third place, and all accounting would be done by this software and so on. There are 2 more points that I'll just make. So this was one aspect. The second aspect was optimizing. So what was happening was people would be spending unnecessary amount of time in thinking about certain things which could have been resolved much earlier. So they would be able to take faster decisions. They would be able to take well-grounded decisions. So they were optimizing their life and they were able to multitask. And of course, a lot of things have been talked about relationships, and that came out of this whole thing. So therefore, the relationships within the institute, within the students and the faculty, and students with their family members and with their circles all improved. And that was, you know, overall what I felt was the output of this in higher education, and also would be benefiting in other spheres of life, including school and other aspects.
Thank you, Professor Kamal. I will not spend time summarizing because you have covered a large area. So I request Professor Amarendra from IIT BHU. Yeah.
With gratitude to Sangal sir and Nisa ma'am, मैं अपनी बात को 2 पार्ट में रखूंगा, मेरी पर्सनल जर्नी और मेरा विकास कैसे हुआ और इसको मैंने स्टूडेंट के लिए फिर कैसे अप्लाई किया। मेरा पहला एक्सपोजर ह्यूमन वैल्यू वर्कशॉप का प्रदीप सर का 3 डे वर्कशॉप वाराणसी में हुआ था, उसके थ्रू हुआ। आफ्टर अटेंडिंग द 3 डे वर्कशॉप मुझे लगा कि इस वर्कशॉप में मुझे जितना पता है सर ये समरी पढ़ा रहे हैं, और मुझे कितना पता था ड्यूरिंग द पीएचडी मैंने खड़गपुर की पूरी लाइब्रेरी पढ़ दी थी ये स्पिरिचुअल रिलेटेड, एंड तो मुझे लगा ये समरी है। और उस समय गूगल मौजूद था, तो वर्कशॉप के बाद मैंने तुरंत गूगल पे सर्च किया, जितने सारे ह्यूमन वैल्यू के सेंटर थे जीवन विद्या के, तुरंत इमीडिएटली ये छोटे वाले सेंटर पे इनरोल कर लिया। इवन सर आप लोग को पता नहीं था, जब वहां जाने के 1 दिन पहले मैम को फोन आ गया कि यहाँ से ये आ रहे हैं, तो अब चूंकि वहां पे ये नहीं था कि आपसे इंटरेक्ट करके हमें जाना, तो फिर कोर्स किया स्टडी सेंटर 10 डेज का। फिर 1-2 वर्कशॉप अटेंड करने के बाद लगा नहीं, हर एक वर्कशॉप में कहा जाता है ये तो ट्रेलर है, पूरा पिक्चर तो अभी बाकी है, क्यों ना इसको कंप्लीट कर लिया जाए। देन उसके बाद फिर मैंने 6 महीने का सबेटिकल स्टडी लीव लिया, पूरा इस कॉन्सेप्ट को समझा, देन कम बैक टू वाराणसी अगेंस। एंड तब तक ये पूरा इस प्रोसेस में ह्यूमन वैल्यू 1 का कोर्स शुरू हो चुका था, ह्यूमन वैल्यू 2 का कोर्स, बट दिस ह्यूमन वैल्यू कोर्स इज ऑन द फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर एंड ह्यूमन वैल्यू 2 इन द 4th सेमेस्टर। और उसके बाद का क्या, तो मुझे लगा कि इस चीज को कंटिन्यू करने के लिए और इसको डीप स्टडी कोई स्टूडेंट जाना चाहता है, हमने एक पॉजिटिव साइकोलॉजी का कोर्स फॉर 3rd year and onward students, it is open elective from the humanity department, and I along with Dr. Yogesh we have launched another course, universal human conduct, for 3rd year onward student, and ये दोनों कोर्स एमटेक पीएचडी और बीटेक 3rd year and 4th year बच्चों के लिए ओपन थे। इस पूरे प्रोसेस में अगर अपनी डेवलपमेंट की बात करते हैं, तो जैसा सर ने आपने शुरू में बोला कि हर एक चिल्ड्रन में जो इनबॉर्न क्वालिटी होती है, वो जो एक्सप्लोर करता है क्यों है, क्या है, कैसे है, और इस एजुकेशन प्रोसेस में बाय द 2nd और 3rd क्लास और ये पूरे के पूरे जो इंक्वायरी वाला पार्ट होता है, इसको इस मॉडर्न एजुकेशन में वो भूल जाता है और कैसे है वाला पार्ट हावी हो जाता है। तो इस पूरे प्रोसेस में थ्रू द इंडक्शन प्रोग्राम, थ्रू द ह्यूमन वैल्यू कोर्स 1, ह्यूमन वैल्यू कोर्स 2, पॉजिटिव साइकोलॉजी एंड यूनिवर्सल ह्यूमन कंडक्ट, उसको फिर से जगाने का हम लोगों ने अपने तरफ से एक प्रयास किया। एज ए टीचर ये अपने डेवलपमेंट के लिए भी मेरे लिए एक, मैं आज देख पाता हूँ आज से 10 years बैक और 9 year बैक और अभी की जो मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है किसी भी इवेंट्स को लेके, किसी भी रिलेशंस को लेके और अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग के बारे में बात करूँ, तो मैं आज इस प्लेटफॉर्म से यह कह पाने की स्थिति में हूँ, इट इज ए पैराडाइम शिफ्ट, पूरा का पूरा होल 180 डिग्री। मैं हर एक चीजों के बारे में अपने ओपिनियन रख सकता हूँ, बना सकता हूँ, सामने वाले को कन्विंस कर सकता हूँ। और जब किसी स्टूडेंट से बात करता हूँ, जब किसी फैकल्टी मेंबर से बात करता हूँ, बीट अगर डिपार्टमेंट का इवेंट हो और इंस्टीट्यूट लेवल का, और अगर रिलेशनशिप के बारे में बात करें जो कि इसका आउटकम है, इस पूरे प्रोसेस में इन्वॉल्वमेंट होने के बाद जो फैमिली के लेवल पे बीट हस्बैंड वाइफ रिलेशनशिप और चिल्ड्रन अपने बच्चों के साथ रिलेशनशिप है। इवन मेरे घर में मेरी जो छोटी बेटी है 4 साल की है, बट जब उससे हमारा उनसे इंटरेक्शंस होता है तो इवन रिस्पॉन्स विच आई एम गेटिंग फ्रॉम हर इज एज मैच्योर, जितने एक बड़े पर्सन से उम्मीद करते हैं वैसा ही उसका रिस्पॉन्स भी होता है। और इन सब सारी चीजों को ऑब्जर्व करने में हमें लगता है ये प्रोसेस दिस role of human value in higher education and higher education as an individual, as a faculty मैं उसका पार्ट हूँ, तो ये हमारे लाइफ में भी रिफ्लेक्ट होता है। और जब इस पे अपने ऊपर काम करते हैं तो हम जहाँ भी हैं, जिस किसी इन्वायरमेंट में है, उस इन्वायरमेंट को भी इन्फ्लुएंस करने का जहाँ जहाँ पे मेरा दायरा रहता है, तो ये हमारे लिए स्वाभाविक हो जाता है कि हम उस इन्वायरमेंट को इन्फ्लुएंस कर पाते हैं। तो मैं अपनी बात को
So, Professor Sangal was supposed to speak on the role of teachers and administration, but he took us across a whole journey, which was very nice. I started this Vishay Pravesh, I said about the what and the how about value education and higher education. And what we just now heard is basically what Professor Sangal's effect has been on the administrative bureaucracy and on faculty and teachers across different sections in India. I am very thankful for all of you to bring out the different aspects. But one of the most important take-homes is also something that Professor Sangal articulated, Pawan also talked about, that it is a journey, the journey towards realization, introspection towards human values is from what I am and what I really want to be. And when teachers or administrators, they would like students to go across this journey, it cannot be done from above. It cannot be done through lectures. Sahayatri banni padegi, and that is why each and every one of you have been talking about your own transformation as you went along with the journey with the students. With this note, I thank all of you to be a part of this.